Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to Communications from Home, which is my weekly show here at Star Nations Radio Network. And you're watching this from our main fan page and at Facebook. I think it's called Star Nations Magazine Radio Network and Publishing, I believe. You know how you look at something all the time and after a while you don't see it anymore? Well, that's it, because I'm on that page a lot. So welcome to the show. It is Tuesday, December 4th at 8 p.m. Eastern time or Central Time here. And it's a beautiful night, actually. We still have cloud cover, but you know, it's got this gentle kind of, it's more than flurries. And so when I actually drove up here tonight, I didn't walk up, watching kind of sparkly and crystally in the headlights. And yeah, it's kind of nice. You know, tonight's show is something that's really dear to my heart, and that's about drums. And I would like to have who's ever supposed to be here, right? And so if you could help me to do that, we're going to like and share the broadcast, if you would please do that. That way, two things happens. That those people who really wanted to be in the live part of the show, that they go, oh yeah, that's what I was going to do. So you remind them. And the other thing is that it helps us to be in the news feed more often. And so if you wouldn't mind doing that, because I'm going to do the same thing. I am going to find our broadcast, the live stream. There we are. I'm going to like it, and then I'm going to share it to my own news feed, so that all my friends know what I'm doing, right? It doesn't take long. Oops, got to spell right though. Live stream show right now. And then I'm going to ask them to please join me. Here we go. Make sure that makes sense. All right, there we go. There's one. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to share it over to the closed groups too. So we're going to share it over to the radio network and the academy. And so I'm just going to say, hey, peeps. My fingers are moving faster than my brain is. And we're just going to ask them to please join. There we go. And make sure I get the right closed groups. There, done. Thank you for doing that, by the way. We appreciate it. And tonight's show is all about drumming and drumming circles and drumming prayers, especially for Grandmother Earth. And I'm going to bring my guest on. And you guys all know her, right? Because she's one of our live stream show hosts here at Star Nations Radio Network, Julie Hedges, who is the show host for the Tarot Journey. And she also does another one, which is Meta Mondays. And those are really fun too, aren't they? Because she has all these little tidbits of information for us. But here we go. We're going to bring Julie on. And hey, Julie.
Hello. I'm glad to be
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah. In fact, I'm going to put that up so everybody knows what they're watching. Welcome to Communications from Home. There we go.
Thank you.
Hey, and Rob's here. Hey, Rob Kendall. He says, I will love and share, and you'll like it. Yes, we do. We absolutely do. There we go.
Yeah.
There. Yeah. So, Julie, I wanted to thank you for a couple of things. One is making time to do the show with me tonight. But also I'm going to share the story. I was contemplating, trying to decide, talking to my spiritual team, what should we do for a show on Tuesday night? And I was kind of coming up blank. And I thought, well, my birthday's coming up in a couple of days. We could do something about birthdays, or you could do something about grounding, because that's been a hot topic lately, about being grounded. And I'm sitting in my chair and I'm thinking about this and trying to connect with my team and seeing which one is more important. And I was even thinking, gee, I wonder if Julie's available if we do the birthday one and talk about solar return kind of stuff, And in popped a message from Julie in my messenger. She goes, "Hey, what you doing?" Because Julie had an idea for a topic for tonight's show, and she really, really wanted us to do it together. And I jumped at it and said yes. But Julie, could you share with our audience why this topic and what is the topic?
Oh, excellent. Yes. I especially have been very, very touched, very emotional, very involved in current events. So all summer long, we've had all of these retrogrades. Retrograde is, in astrology terms, it appears from our vantage point that planets are moving backward in the sky. That's not the case, but it just appears that way. But energetically, it means go within, focus within. So we've had all of these energies telling us to go within, go within, go within. And sometimes that is uncomfortable. Sometimes it creates bumps in the road. Sometimes it manifests as life events that we don't like.
Yeah.
Because as so without, so within, right? And then we move into more of the autumn, and we have the hurricanes and a lot of flooding, and we have the California wildfires. And now on Friday, we had the earthquake in Alaska last Friday. And I was very moved by that.
Mm-hmm.
And in myself, I was thinking for my Monday meta that I do, my little live stream, my native live stream that I do every single Monday, that I wanted to do some special prayers for Grandmother Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to pray with my drum, because that's something that I do.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, there's really only one person that really knows about the drum and has the chops to lead something like this. And that's Neshi, sacred drum maker, sacred teacher. Mm-hmm. And so I really wanted Neshi to be the leader of this, but I wanted to pair with her to see if we could maybe do some of these prayers. And so that's really what it came down to. And yes, it was Saturday night, and I messaged, I said, "What are you doing Tuesday for the show? Can I invite myself on?" So how it came together with drum prayers for Grandmother Earth, specifically starting with this time and current events, especially Earth current events. But then as we were talking, bring this out a little bit too. As we were talking, texting back and forth, and then we got online together, was remembering just 2 short years ago, in 2016, we had been watching and we had been praying for months and months and months with the water protectors out at Standing Rock in this tiny little place in North Dakota.
Right.
We were all praying, but on December 4th, 2016 was an historic day. There had been many historic things happening over the months, but December 4th was like the big fireworks aha. The veterans of the United States Armed Forces went out to protect the water protectors, those who felt that call. They weren't deployed, they felt the call. And so that was number one that weekend. And the second big thing that my heart exploded when this happened is that the Army Corps of Engineers denied the permit for them to halt construction right then and there, and they had to do an environmental study. Now we know what happened. We know what happened, but that just kind of blew the walls off of the whole structure because it's the government agency that stopped it
Mm-hmm.
by listening to the people and the prayers all mixing in there that we've been praying along with the water protectors and
Yeah.
the people of Standing Rock.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that too. So, this is an historic night, December 4th.
Well, like what you said is that, thinking back to the water protector movement um, that year, well, actually, it's still going on. Might
Yes.
be to different places around the world, but there are still some water protectors facing their court dates in North Dakota 2 years later. Um, and, all along the way, there was historical things happening. They were making history in one way or another. Um, yeah, and just thinking back at it, I have to smile at a few of them. It's like I remember when, because we were out there, it was in November of 2016, is when it's called the Horn, and I think it's the seven bands of the Great Sioux Nation, the Osheti Sakoi, um, was the first time in over 100 years that the Great Horn came together, and they set up their lodges, which are the teepees, in the configuration that they're meant to be set up in, on land, which is where the majority of the water protectors were camped out at. Um, it was a historical time. I mean, and to be there and to feel the drums and the prayers and all that. Yeah, and I do remember the veterans, and they came from all over the United States. They made their way there. Some people had money raised for them to make it there. There were buses that were taken there, and it really did shake things up there a lot. In fact, that was the one big thing that brought both the national and international media, corporate media, to see. And there was a blizzard that weekend too. Do you remember that? There was a,
Yes.
there was a blizzard that weekend. Um, and I have talked to some of the veterans that were there for months that were there. I've watched a gazillion videos about Standing Rock, and there was a common thing that a lot of the veterans were saying is that was the first time they felt that they were actually doing the job that they thought they were going to be doing for the country, and actually standing to protect the citizens. You know,
Oh,
yeah, yeah. And the really, really odd thing, is that these veterans were doing this, and there was active duty National Guard that they were going to face, and actually militarized police, right?
yeah.
So, and that was, I think, one of the reasons why the government was pressured into signing
I
the
think
environmental, because they didn't want to have this clash between retired military and active military. You know,
mhm.
so lots and lots of things were happening during that time frame. Yeah, and the thing is that there is other things that occurred that really touched my heart, and one of them is the No Dapple song. Right, it was a song that was created and given to the people to use during the times that they were doing the peaceful protests. Right, and so that song has gone all around the world. People learning how to sing it. It's in Lakota, and so it's difficult. The lyrics are difficult, but very meaningful. Um, and so that was one of the things that touched my heart, and um, to have something like that happen, you know. Um, And when I was out there, um, of course, I took a drum with me, a hand drum, knowing that there may be some repercussions from that. A native woman with a drum, you know. There's still some native people, indigenous people who have a belief system that women should not be touching a drum. And so, but I took it anyway. But I ended up gifting it to a young man who um, he had a great voice to sing, and he was doing. They're called well, they're hand drum songs, right? And at night, after all the dishes are done and all that, and the meetings are concluded, you could hear the different camps. They would start drumming. They would start their songs and that kind of thing, right? And as far as I know, there wasn't any big drums, maybe one or two, but most of the people had hand drums. And this young man didn't have a hand drum. He was borrowing hand drums so that he could sing songs, right? And so I gifted him my drum and my drumstick. Um, yeah, so at least this young man was able to actually hopefully take it with him when he went out there to do their protests. So yeah. Hey, we got lots of comments going on here. Let's see. Hey, Donnie Fulton's here. Hey, Donnie, good to see you. Says hello, all, love and light to y'all. Donnie joins us in the afternoon sometimes, and Connie's here. Hi, Connie. Connie, yeah, hi. Connie is one of our live stream show hosts as well. She does the show Spiritual Mysteries of Life, the last Thursday of the month. And Rob is saying, howdy, ladies. Hello, Rob. Yay, Donnie. Minnie Wachoni. Yes.
Minnie Wachoni.
Yeah, okay, Donnie, I have to say this. He says, wow, he will remember you forever. I don't know if he'll remember me forever, but the fact that when he's going to stand up and sing, that he has his own drum, and he'll remember that there was this lady that really appreciated what he was doing. That's what I hope he remembers. But Minnie Wachoni, here's a quick story. I got to tell this one, Julie. This was some time ago. I think maybe I want to say last fall, not this past fall, but a year ago. I was in Walmart. Paul and I ran in there for some stuff, and it was supposed to be a quick in and out thing, because we don't really like shopping at Walmart. But there's some things that we have to do there, have to get there, and so we're got the list and we're shopping, and Paul nudges me and he says, "Did you see that?" And I said, "What?" He goes, "Do you know her?" When I turned around, there wasn't anybody there. It's like, what are you seeing? He said, "No, really, there was a lady there. She had a T-shirt on that said, water is life." I said, "Really?"
Oh.
Okay. And so when we kind of met in one aisle, coming from opposite directions, kind of met. And I saw her shirt, and Paul goes, "Did you see that? You going to stop and talk to them?" I said, "Maybe," and I get to the end of the aisle, and all of a sudden I just say, "Minnie Wachoni," really loud. In the middle of Walmart. They replied, and then people 3 or 4 aisles over were saying, "Minnie Wachoni," in Walmart in Toma.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is beautiful.
A year later, right? A year later. Yeah. So, yeah. So, and to hear that call when you're in the camp, because literally, you'd hear these echoes. Somebody would say, "Minnie Wachoni," really loud, and then somebody would reply, and then he would go all the way around the camp. And they'd be quiet a little while, and then somebody would say it again. It's fun.
Oh.
Yeah, water is life. Yeah, when you were talking about the hurricanes, right? And we're talking about Minnie Wachoni, water is life. Water water is life to us. But when you're in a hurricane, I can only imagine what that would have been like. Look at how many states here in the United States, how many islands have been, and I think of Puerto Rico, and they're still not recovered from it. Yeah. So your idea to do the show tonight was perfect. Perfect.
Yay.
Yay. Yay. So how would you like to do this? We had said that we were going to do a little smudging.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have my Palo Santo right here. That's what needed to come out tonight for me.
Okay. You want to share about what Palo Santo is and how do you use it when you smudge?
Palo Santo is a sacred wood. It's an aromatic wood. Mine has been sitting out, but it has a sweet smell. The smell reminds me of a cross between cinnamon and sweetgrass. So I love the smell of this Palo Santo. It is a sacred wood from the rainforest, I think it is. And so, as you know, when it's dried, you can use it to smudge. And smudging, of course, is using the smoke of a sacred fire for energetic purification. It's like taking a shower or a bath for your auric system, for your emotional body and your mental body and your spiritual body and your whole auric field. So like when you get into the shower at night, you wash off the day. Well, when you smudge, you can also wash off the day. All of the energies floating around you like pigpen, because we pick up things all the time. We pick up people's moods, or we exude our own stuff. And so smudging, the way I do it is I just light this, here, I'll pull it up. Just light it and just get the end of it. So you just want the end of it smoking, kind of like an incense stick. And just allowing that smoke. It's so sweet and aromatic. And so I just start. My camera's going in and out, so it looks like I'm getting closer and farther away but starting with my crown and then just all the way down, just allowing that sacred smoke to encircle my whole forearm. Sitting down, I'm just going to go all the way down. I do, when I'm hosting a drum healing event or a drum circle, typically I use South Dakota sage. I have some nice South Dakota sage, which the difference between the California white sage is that's very popular around here, that you get in a long bundle because the leaves are dried and they're long, right?
And Julie, you get some wonky audio going on. It's kind of muffled. I don't know if you're covering your mic or.
No, I am not.
That's better. I don't know what that was.
Well, it could be old Mercury retrograde, or it could be spirit. I don't know. I can run over, and I didn't bring my headphones because as we were talking before the show, it sounded okay.
Yeah, it did.
And they're right over there. I can just run and get them.
How about this? I've got white sage here, and I can talk a little bit about that. I can, and you can go do that while I'm doing the sage. How's that?
Okay. Be right back.
All right. So I didn't know if you guys noticed that or not, but her sound was a little muffled. Yeah. So Donnie is saying, burning with you, sis. My wife just brought home 2 fresh sticks from her work. Excellent. And is Samhain walking in front of the mic? Could be. Samhain is Julie's cat. All right, so here is the sage that that Julie was talking about, right? The sage is grown all over the United States, even here in Wisconsin, although our growing season is much shorter. And but I have to tell you that I do believe, just my personal opinion, the best sage comes from South Dakota. There's something about it that smells completely different than other sage that you buy elsewhere, right? Now, it's not to say that you can't use other ones. This is just my favorite, is all. And so they come in bundles, and all I do is kind of, let's see, I gotta get the camera in there, is to take some of the leaves off, and I kind of roll it a little bit just to get it, and I put it in my shell, in the shell. And one of the things that my mom taught me when I was very young is that when you work with the plant, is to connect with it. Here we go. Is to connect with the plant, the spirit of the plant. And so, and basically is just taking it and bringing it to your heart and asking the spirit of the sage to be here with us. It's one of the 4 sacred plants, medicines, and asking it to be here to help us to clear away any of the lower vibrational energies and to bring blessings in. Yeah. And then you just wait for the yes, right? Okay. And some people are purists. They'd only use like embers from a fire, right? Or a wooden matchstick, right? Look at my Bic. And so we just kind of light it, let the smoke up. And so here, we'll give you some, huh? There you go. And when I smudge myself, I start from my feet up, or if it's sitting on a table, what I do is I bring some to my heart, and we're clearing the heart, my throat chakra, my third eye, and then my crown. And so we're just bringing that and the good thoughts, getting those cleared, the negative. And I even clear my laptop, especially during Mercury retrograde. I had to do that earlier today. Yeah. There we go. You know, and there's something about the smudging, and it, you know, that when we connect to the plant and we're in that co-creative place. Sage has been used is all across the United States now. When I was a kid, I grew up with using cedar and only cedar. And so I do have cedar, but cedar is a little bit, you definitely have to have an ember to use cedar for that to burn. And I grew up, my mom would smudge our house twice a year at least. And so I grew up helping her with that. So as space clearing goes, I think I started that when I was 8 and did the full smudging. We'd call it smoke in the house when I was 13 or 14. So yeah, I got a little experience under my belt. Yeah, it just smells good. It smells good. Nice. And you don't need much, really, of the white sage, because it's burning pretty good here. I'll show it to you again. See how much smoke is coming from that? And it was only just maybe not even half of that stalk. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear my drum and my drumstick. It's been a while. There we go. Here's my drumstick. And I'm going to take my drum. go. There. So that my drum has a little of that smudge too. So as Julie was saying, the smudging, when it's really working with the plant with their natural and innate qualities, and that is to take away, those lower vibrations, right? Yeah. Donnie's asking, what are the other four? Okay, so you have sage, cedar, sweetgrass, and tobacco. Those are the four sacred medicines. Yeah. And Lynn is saying, I have a smudge kit of sage, Palo Santo, rose quartz, selenite, and it helps dispel the energy through the burning of plant. Use it nearly every day. Well, good. Excellent. And the rose quartz, it's about love, isn't it? And Palo Santo, I do like this. In fact, down at the house, my house, at my central altar, I have Palo Santo, I have tobacco, I have cedar, and I also have white sage. So depending on what the situation is, who gets called up front to help out. Yeah. So what else would you like to talk about, Julie, before we start done?
That was really good. I really enjoyed that about the way that you do your saging. I'm really glad that you demonstrated that. And normally I do use the South Dakota sage, but tonight just the Palo Santo that I was gifted decided that, okay, I've not used Palo Santo for this before. I've used Palo Santo for other things, but not for a drumming prayer session. So we'll just try that. So I will, while you're finishing talking, I will go ahead and I will smudge my stick and my drum.
Okay.
And the drum that you made for me. And the stick that you made for me. Here it is. Okay. Yeah. My drum, my buffalo drum here, was birthed. Her birthday was December 18th, 2017. There we go. And she was made and dedicated by Neshi. And while you were making my drum, you had worked with some Lakota energies. I think you sent me in the email, and you also played sacred songs.
Yeah, I did.
Sacred native songs, some of your favorites while you were making her. My drum right here.
I normally do. It's, when I make drums, it's usually it's a drum called Whitetails. It's a CD called For the Elders, and yeah, that's the one I usually play. But I think for years, there were some of the songs that were sung. We used for was the Split Lodge songs. Some of them, not all of them, but some of them. Yeah, if I remember right. I've made quite a few. Let's talk a little bit about the drum itself before we get started. For those of you who have your drums that would be drumming with us tonight, or if you have a rattle, or if you have a flute, anything that you have that's an instrument that you want, and we're even going to talk about when you don't have one. When you don't have an instrument. So when we use a drum, the drum is when you have the drumstick and the drum together, you have balance, because the drumstick represents the male energy, right? Male energy, and the drum represents the female energy. And when you have the two together, you have balance. You have balance. And the other thing is that when a drum is made, you're literally weaving together energy, and it's like creating the universe. Okay.
Can I show them the back of my drum?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, there you go.
Right here.
Yeah.
Here are the lacings of my drum.
Mm-hmm. And so, you know, it's the weaving, and the lacing is represents the flow of daily life, but it actually, you're actually creating the universe, and so everything is in the drum, the sacred hoop, no end, no beginning to that circle. It is the full circle. Yeah, sure. Use your guitar, Rob. Perfect. Yeah. The drum, when we're drumming, especially when we're drumming a prayer, a lot of people think that that it's the actual hitting of the drum beater to the drum that is carrying the prayer, and what is carrying the prayer is between the beats, is the space between the beats, and that sacred sound, because that is what where the sacred geometry lies, right? And so the prayer rides on that sacred geometry, the space between the beats, and then it goes out to the creator, out into the universe. And so that is where your prayers, they hitch a ride. It's kind of like the same way with the bell, that when you ring a bell, you know, especially when they're sacred bells, those Balinese bells, oh my goodness, they say that the sound goes all the way out to the universe and back to you. And so, yeah, so your prayers are getting carried out into the universe. And so when we drum, there's so much to it, so much symbolism, isn't there? Because with the drum beat, it also represents the heartbeat of Grandmother Earth, our heartbeat. It's the first beat that we heard in utero, was our mother's heartbeat. And so there's so much connected to it. And every culture, every indigenous culture, and when you go back far enough, Julie, everybody comes from an indigenous culture. When you go back far enough, you might not be indigenous to Turtle Island, but your ancestors were indigenous to another continent. And so, and every indigenous group, people, had a drum of some sort. And so when you hear a drum, and you got to go and find out, where is that coming from? It's a part of your blood and bones, in your DNA, that's connected to the drum, because it goes back for eons, our connection to the drum. So when we drum a prayer, it was interesting. Julie was sharing with me about the drum circle that she attends down by her, and was explaining about how they do things there. And I don't know if you found it funny or not. I kind of did. See, when I first started going to different groups, when I was, this is like late 90s, mid 90s. Yeah, I didn't know what a drum circle was. I mean, you know, some people would say that I'm Native American, so I should have known about drum circles, right? Well, the thing is that drum circles are not Native American. I think that they were started really to bring a community together, and a community of a diverse people, to bring people together. Because the only drum circle I ever knew was powwows, and that certainly is a social event that has some ceremony mixed in with it. So I had to get used to drum circles, because at the time I wasn't even drumming. I didn't start drumming until I made, this is actually my first drum that I made.
Oh.
It is elk. And I made this drum in 2002. And so, yeah. So anyway, the loving the drum and dancing to the drum. But when I started making drums and drumming, that took it to a whole nother level. And yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. So So when we're going to be doing the drumming, the person leading, so either one of us, Julie or I, will lead, and with the prayer, and we'll state our intention or prayer, and then we'll start the drum. For those that are at home, if you can just try to follow the beat, right, as best you can, because there's a little bit of a delay in the live stream. There's about a 5 to 15 second delay. All right, just so you know that. So, and for those of you who don't have an instrument to use, you can use your body. And how do you use your body? This is my favorite way. Is to use the flat of your hand and drum near your heart.
I like that.
Yeah, yeah. Or you can use your leg. We all have done that. Come on, when we've been at concerts or something like that. You end up tapping the beat out on your leg, and so you can do that. The most important thing is your intention, and with the prayer. I don't know, Julie. How do you feel about? I got to check the time. About maybe taking one or two prayers from the live chat. And we can.
Absolutely.
Yeah? Okay. All right. So you want to take the first one?
I cannot see any comments, but I would certainly be glad to. Okay. On my phone, it doesn't come up with any comments. So.
Okay. So how about, well, actually what I was asking if you wanted to lead the first prayer.
Oh, certainly.
Okay, good. All right. And so so this is how I get ready is I do a greeting to my drum since we haven't been together for a while. And I give her a quick hug, connecting to the drum, spirit of the drum. Every drum has a spirit in it. Let's see if I can get a better angle here. There, I think that might work a little bit better.
Okay. All right. So the way that I have been taught by mentors of drum circles and the way that I work in the drum healing circles that I do is that we all drum a unison beat, and we are just putting our prayers out there, whatever intentions. And so we might go around the circle and ask for what are our intentions. It's for Grandmother Earth. It's for the rains to come to quench the fires. It's for the earth to settle herself gently and gracefully and not, create all of these waves for us humans and our structures to come toppling down, or whatever prayers those are for the intentions of Grandmother Earth, and that we just drum together a unison beat following the leader, whoever is the one leading that particular round. And when the leader really feels that the prayer is complete, the prayer is whole, the prayer is ready to be finally packaged and sent off, like putting the stamp on the letter, right? And sending it off, that will noticeably speed up and have 5 distinct 3, 4, 5. And those 5 slow beats at the end, just kind of long, slow beats, are what's called the callback beats. Because when we are drumming, when we are really praying, when we are contemplating, when we are in spirit, there's a tendency for our souls to go off and do the work that we are to do. When we're really praying, we're going off somewhere, maybe. We're having our own journey. We're having our own experience. And so this whole here and now kind of thing is not at the forefront. So those callback meets are kind of like, hey, come on back in, come on back to the present time. That work is complete. It's time to regroup. It's time to put our feet back on the ground, so to speak. So beginning tonight with an intention, praying for Grandmother Earth, for the seasons, the time of the waning of the light and the birth of the new light that is to come. All of the kind of the chaotic upsets, and I'm going to call it reorganizations, because I think that's what Grandmother Earth has been doing, just reorg, kind of like cleaning up the clutter. And sometimes things get displaced while you're cleaning up the clutter for a bit. So praying for that, praying for ease and grace and balance for Grandmother Earth. That's our first intention. Did you have anything you wanted to add on that, Neshi?
Nope, that's good.
Okay, so let's go ahead and pray with our drums, our rattles, our bodies, our tin cans, whatever it is that you are praying with tonight. Please join me. Whew.
That was nice.
Did you have any experience while you were drumming that you would like to share?
Well, the connection to Grandmother Earth is really important, and so is to Grandfather Sky. But with Grandmother Earth and that drumming, it was about the feeling I had was that, she's doing exactly what she needs to do. Because, technically, if she didn't want us here, we wouldn't be here. And so, and all of everything that she's doing is those adjustments and those things those healing things that she has to do, that we interpret to be really uncomfortable and hard to take, because when you're in the hurricane, you're not thinking, oh, this is a good thing. Grandmother Earth is doing her adjustment, because it's difficult. It's difficult. Or when you're in a 7.2 earthquake, but really it is, it's her natural way of doing those adjustments. That's what I got. Yeah. Yeah. She loves us. Yeah. So did you get anything?
Well, for me, yes, I had my own journey experience. I was actually a black bear. While I was drumming, I also had my spirit was a black bear, and I was in a black bear in the rainforest. Okay, I don't know if that happens in real life. I don't know if they have bears there, black bears, but I was a black bear in the rainforest, and I was walking the cliff, and I was walking through the waterfall, and it was a really long waterfall, like deep wise waterfall. I'm walking through. And as I get to the innermost part of the waterfall, I turn into this mermaid. And then I swim out. So all of that water energy of that motherly energy of the bear, and that bear medicine and healing, and then going really into the waters of the earth, that there is much more healing work that I need to do for myself, healing work to do with clients, and healing that Grandmother Earth is still working on and working through as well.
Yeah. Very nice. In fact, Connie says, nice. Thank you, Connie. Thank you. We got about 10 minutes or so, and I think we might go over just a little bit, just so that our audience knows that. We're going to go over just a little bit. I'm glad that we drummed for her. Now, I would like to drum for her as well, but I would like to drum for her and in drumming our love for her. Our prayer for her is love, and that that we appreciate her, that we're grateful for her, and everything that she provides for us. Yeah, that we're showing her how much we love her. Yeah.
Good.
All right. So, and my ending is very similar to what Julie did. So, I'll see if I can make sure that I let you guys know about the ending. Okay. So, yeah, I'm just going to take a big deep breath in, and then we'll get started. Our grandmother, showing her our love and appreciation. We always give some to Grandfather Sky, and down to Grandmother Earth. Yeah. This time I saw color. Yeah. Lots of greens. Lots of greens. Stephanie is saying, yes, Julie, you called them sun bears, and they are indigenous to many areas in Asia. Most waterfalls in Asia have mermaid myths around them. Very cool.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me know.
Connie says, this has been a fast hour. Yes, it has.
Yes.
And thanking us. Yeah. So I wanted to offer, because we have about 5 minutes or so. We're going to go over a little bit, you guys. So does anybody have a prayer in the audience that they would like to do for us to drum for you and drum with you, I should say? And if you could just put it in the comment, well, we'd be happy to do so. Happy to do so. This is a new way to do drum circles.
Yes.
Have you ever done anything like this before online?
Actually, yes. It was maybe early 2016 or 2015 when I did something like this on my page. Yeah, but it hasn't been for a long time. Yeah, I do like feeling the concert of the drums surrounding me. But I'll tell you, during that round, I felt like I was in the company of other drummers right here where I am. So I was feeling all of you around Grandmother Earth right here in my dining room is where I'm broadcasting tonight. Oh. You're all right here. And I don't know if you can hear, but right behind my camera, I have a chime, and it has a solar panel in it. And so whenever it has the ambient light, sunlight, or this lamp here builds up, it'll start tinkling itself. So you'll hear it. I've been hearing it go off here all hour. It'll tinkle.
I haven't heard it, but
okay.
How cool is that? Connie says she experienced a lot of peace. Yay. Thank you for sharing that. And Rob is saying a prayer that Athena will rise again from her slumber. Okay. Athena. Athena. A prayer that she rises from her slumber. It's that goddess energy, and Athena, she had the owl on her shoulder. Wisdom. She was a strong warrior. Yeah. Goddess.
One thing about, if I can just add a little bit, so there's an asteroid energy, Pallas Athena, how she is sometimes known. And then the astrological correspondence of that, Pallas Athena is a brave warrior, but she is a genius diplomat. And so her first line of defense is to use her mind through diplomacy, because as the myth tells us, she was born fully formed. She sprang from Zeus's mind, from the mind of the Godhead. So so that our wisdom and genius will spring forth.
Yeah. And a balanced goddess energy, female energy. Yeah. Good one, Rob. Let's do it.
I'll follow you.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Thank you, Rob, for doing that. Thank you. Because Athena is one of my yeah, you're the three, the highest three. She's been with me for a really long time, and she was slumbering. Who's been slumbering? I'm here. I'm always here. Yeah. No, but that was a good one. It was to connect to her and feeling her, and that was good. Thank you, Rob. And Rob says, I have her with me now, is referring to my drum that split the other day. Oh, okay. That Athena. Uh-huh. Well, we brought in Athena energy, that's for sure. Stephanie, I would like to see the drum that keeps calling me to be birthed in its own time. Hmm. Hmm. Stephanie, have you dreamt about that drum before? I know that this has been around for a few years already. If I remember right, it was coyote medicine, if I remember right. I would like to see the drum. Did you want us to drum for that, Stephanie, or were you just making a comment about it? Because we got a couple minutes that we can go over here. That was fun to feel her.
And what happened while she is responding, I'll just say what happened during that time for me.
Mm-hmm.
Is that immediately when I started drumming, the Crow Mother showed up and speaking to me in English, saying, hey, you better listen to what they're telling you, kind of getting on me like, you better listen to your spirit guide. Hey, you better listen. Okay.
All righty then.
Okay.
Good for her for coming in and giving you that nudge, letting you know that she's there and that she's watching. And this is she loves you. That's why she's saying that to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know we have a little bit of a delay, and I don't know. Stephanie's kind of multitasking tonight, so she could be away from her computer too. So much fun. I really do appreciate you guys being here with us tonight, and whether you're drumming or praying with us or even just using your like, okay, here she is. She says, yes, please. And yes, many years in the making. A friend of mine is working on the hoop. Okay. All right. So, drumming for the spirit of the drum that's coming to Stephanie. And in the divine timing. And how about if it's okay, Stephanie, I'm going to add to clear the path for it to manifest for you. Clear the path for it. Because that spirit has been waiting to be brought forth as much as you've been waiting for it. So we'll see if we can send a prayer out for that spirit that's coming with that drum.
I'm going to switch drums. This is my other, it's just a Remo drum, and it's not my first drum, but it's my first drum that's my drum. You know, and I'm like the first one that I really connected to, and its voice is very baritone and powerful. And this is the drum that I would take to pray and sing with the water, along with the water protectors. I was here in Indiana, and they were all over Grandmother Earth, but this is my first drum that's my drum.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So this one wanted to drum.
Yeah. It's funny because I was going to take out my Rima drum too, because this drum is kind of tight because of the weather. There's not a lot of humidity. And I was going to get the other one out, and this one goes, oh no, this is mine. I'm doing this tonight. It's like, okay. All right, we're a little tinny sounding, but that's all right. So this one is for Stephanie and her drum that is coming to her. So we're praying for that spirit of that drum to come in divine timing and to clear the path. We're asking spirit to clear the path for that drum to come to Stephanie in divine timing. Okay. All right. Drumming for a drum. I love it. Okay, here we go. Drum mother, show me the beat, please. I've never done one for that like that before. Drumming for a drum. That was different. That was kind of gone there for a minute. I'm just reading in the chat here. Stephanie is saying thank you. And Rob said, if I wanted to get a store-bought drum for sacred work, what should I get from a store? Well, you certainly would want to get your hands on it if you can, to feel the spirit within that drum, because if there's one there, you'll feel it. And, you know, I think it really depends on what you're going to drum, how you're going to use it. See, I have a couple of different size drums. I have one that fits in a backpack, so that when I'm going to sacred sites, I can fit it in my backpack. And I have, of course, my 15-inch drums. So I think it really depends on if you're going to travel with it or how you're going to do that. Of course, you know, the larger the drum, the deeper the voice. The thicker the hide, the deeper the voice. If you want to have a drum that has a deep resonance, and you want to have a bigger drum and a thicker hide, if that makes any difference, okay? Hide-wise, if you're using it for your own personal healing work, sacred work, deer is good. If it's something that is going to be used for a lot of different things, elk is really good. It's very versatile. Buffalo is good if you live in a warm, humid climate, because it holds its voice much better than the other two. So hopefully that's helpful. Yeah. And Stephanie is thanking everybody for helping. And Connie is saying it took me to a special place. I know, didn't it? That was really something. I'm going to have to sit down and be with that one a little bit later tonight. Ben signed drum, heart, water, drink, drum. You know? You know, I've had people say that when we're doing certain kinds of drumming, that they literally can feel it in their blood.
Mm.
You know, that beat. Um, well, I don't know, you guys. We do have to bring the show to a close. We're 10 minutes past.
Oh,
Thank you so much for being with us tonight and being a part of the drumming and the prayers. And, you know, if you like it, and I'm going to listen to the playback and see what the drums sound like. You know, if you like it, maybe what we can do is do this once a month. You know, we'll come together and drum some prayers and that sort of thing. So, yeah, I've got, you know, 4 or 5 shows a month, right? And so one for the unity breath and one for drumming. We could do that. That'd be simple enough to do. So let me know if that's something that you guys are interested in. I'd be happy to do that. And Julie, thank you so much for bringing this topic and the drums and the prayers idea to me. And I'm so glad you could be here with us.
I loved it. Thank you.
All right. Well, until next week, and I'll let you know what the show is about next week. I have to get through all of this computer stuff, and then I can settle in and find out what Spirit wants me to do for next week. So, yeah. Stephanie, thank you for the amazing lessons. You're welcome. You're very welcome. So with that, enjoy the rest of your evening, everyone, and we'll see you next week back here for Communications from Home. Thank you. Good night, everybody.